wins have to be big and they have to be personal, right? For people to care. If it's the country winning a war, that means something. People, his approval ratings went up after that Iranian bombing, not down, right?
That's right.
But since the end of June, they've gone down 10 points because of the big, beautiful bill and because of this Epstein shit. So he's not stupid. He's a smart man. I think he'll probably figure something out here in the meantime. But I think he also knows that.
Is there a way in the next, 4 to 6 months for the president and his team to do the appropriate damage control and to regain some confidence? And in your opinion, what does that look like specifically?
When there's something like this, the only way to really restore confidence is to put it out in public. I don't think that, like, there's a lot of conspiracies about this or that, about Trump and the Epstein files. I can tell you firsthand that he's not criminally involved in anything. I've heard from people in the intelligence community that have poured over this stuff. There is some weird stuff, not weird like in a sexual way or anything like that. Stuff about how allegedly he and Melania were introduced by Epstein, right? And that's embarrassing for him. I don't care about that. That has Trump is another person I think is a good man, right? He's different than me. He grew up a billionaire in New York. We have some different values for sure. And he's also on a ticking clock because he's only got this one term to do his stuff. So I understand why he rushes through certain things. I understand he's moderated quite a bit. When I say moderated, he's not calling everybody assholes now, only now and then, right? So I think he's a good man too. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. My sincere opinion about that is that he doesn't want to be the president in charge when this all collapses. And that's probably what would happen if he told everybody everything. I think he should still do it. I don't give a fuck. If a system is built on this evil, then it needs to collapse. But as far as what they could do to rebuild this stuff, I don't know that anything can be done, because what they're going to try to do is message their way out of it. And I don't think that's going to work. Especially when, if you're a typical Trump voter from 2016, a rural person who is probably middle to lower middle class, and you just saw the big, beautiful bill add a bunch of debt, right, that we're going to have to pay for at some point, and you saw it raise the SALT deduction from 10% to 40%, if anybody's even tracking on this. So now New York City and Los Angeles and San Francisco, anybody that lives there can write off 40%, or I'm sorry, up to $40,000 in their state and local taxes, right? Which means you're going to now pay a higher effective federal tax rate than this person that lives in this shithole that voted the wrong. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. And now you're going to get penalized for it anyways. I think that kind of stuff is really hard to come back from, to be honest. And I really think that in September, if this rescission bill that they're talking about during the reconciliation process doesn't hammer federal spending in a meaningful way, then they're going to be fucked in 26. That's what I think.
There's no doubt. I agree wholeheartedly with you. I think the only messaging that's going to distract the American public right now is continue the tariffs, continue walloping these other countries, getting paid back. I think that's a great diversion from it. And then for me, I think you relaunch this whole thing with the Fed. I think you really dig in. You start to confront. I think you start talking about an audit of the Fed. I think you talk about the Fort Knox stuff. Because the one thing I think that the two biggest things that people will not tolerate is children getting hurt, right? Children being objectified, children being attacked, children being wronged. And the other is money. And at $38 trillion, and just printing money in ways we can't even fathom. You better give the American people some type of hope that, there is a way to rein this in. Like, all right, we're going to tariff, we're going to do this, but the next one, like you said, in the fall, we're going to start slashing the budget. I agree with you. I think those are the only two ways.
Yeah, and by the way, another I don't want to just hammer on people on my own side, although I do feel like it's our responsibility to keep our own part of the field clean. You know what I mean? And not like they're bad actors, but we got to hold each other accountable when things are right and wrong. But the left is stupid too, and quite a bit more stupid than the right is. Let's be clear about that. Like this whole idea from the left and neocons that tariffs are going to cause inflation. I think inflation was 1.83% last month. Like, fuck off, dude. We're just like, we know this not to be true. And Jerome Powell needs to get fired out of a cannon into the sun or something like that. This guy's completely useless. But yeah, to your point about, giving people wins is what it's about. They tried, by the way, with the Brennan Comey stuff. Like they tried to put that out the day after this, and nobody is talking about that.
None.
Nobody on the right gives two fucks. And to be clear, they're both assholes. They both tried to steal an election and get Trump thrown in prison, right? There's no question about that. It's not treason because it doesn't involve a foreign adversary, but it's definitely something. It's definitely a crime.
It's a RICO case for sure.
Yeah. So, but that might be one of the biggest conspiracies in the history of this country. And it just happened. And nobody's talking about it because they're so pissed off about this, right?
That's right.
So you're going to have to do something big. Really, I mean, I like the tariffs. I think they're doing it. I think Trump's foreign policy so far has been great.
I agree.
Like, certainly he can't control Zelensky or Putin. People give him a little bit of shit for the Russia-Ukraine thing, but literally everything else he's done, from dealing with Modi in India to dealing with Netanyahu and keeping that lunatic from going completely full retard. You know what I mean? Because that he's managing a lot foreign policy wise, and I think he's mostly made the right decisions there. So I have no complaints about that. But wins have to be big and they have to be personal, right? For people to care. If it's the country winning a war, that means something. His approval ratings went up after that Iranian bombing, not down, right?
That's right.
But since the end of June, they've gone down 10 points because of the big, beautiful bill and because of this Epstein shit. So he's not stupid. He's a smart man. I think he'll probably figure something out here in the meantime. But I think he also knows that they got to cut a lot of spending sometime soon, right? Probably in September, because I don't think you'll have another chance to do it after that. And you have to give people individual wins somehow. I don't know what his plan is on that.